If you like being able to watch the podcast, make sure to let me know by subscribing to this channel. Everything is working out for me. It's working out for you, too. It just takes believing that it is. We can have, be, and do anything. The key is to care about how you feel and choose to feel good right now. I'm here today with Marion Tierney, and she just did a wonderful layered tarot card reading for me. I got so much out of it. There was so much that resonated, and that's for the new podcast I'm putting together. And I know you guys have heard all about it. I swear it's coming soon, and you'll get to hear all about that reading and hear more from Marion then. But today what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Marion and we're going to find out more about her journey and how she uses tarot and oracle cards for holistic healing for people. It's a wonderful focus in life and she's offering it out to the world. And then we're going to tell you guys how you can get in contact with her and actually work with her in your own journey so that you guys can meet up and you can experience some healing of your own. So, Marion, thanks for being here on the show today. I appreciate you so much being here and sharing everything with my audience. Can you kind of say hi to everybody and let them know who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm Marion Tierney, and I'm based in Ireland, in the west of Ireland on the Wild Atlantic Way, in County Mayo. And I started holistically, I suppose, getting into cards in the last number of years. And I've just, it's kind of my holistic paths kind of going from just getting a deck to going on my different healing paths after that with trainings and different groups.
You definitely have more than one pack of cards now, for sure.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
It has grown.
Yeah. It has grown. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Most
And
definitely. Yeah.
did you have any kind of influence growing up that was spiritual or intuitive in nature? Or is this something you just discovered in yourself?
I say I would have discovered it in myself slowly. Like different things would have happened to me growing up. So, like, basically, the example of that would be when my father was passing away, and we were in out near the hospital, and we were all just having breakfast that morning, and I just got up off the table. I'd hardly finished all my breakfast, and I said, I'm going back to the room to him, in the hospital." And my intuition stepped in there, and within an hour, we were all back in the room, and my father passed away. Yeah. So that
So
was one
intuitively,
that,
you received some guidance of it's time to go to him now because it's
yeah,
almost time for him to go. And you were able to say goodbye and be with him in that moment. That's
yeah.
wonderful.
And we all did it as a family. So it was really
Wow.
nice. Yeah.
Yes.
And then a couple of other occasions happened then with other family members and an aunt and an uncle. And I was in different places away from my family. Or no, one night happened to be out at home, and my aunt was sick in America, actually, in New York. And we knew she had been for some time. And, anyways, I never forget, I was out the night before and I was just having a couple of drinks with friends and whatever. And I just decided I'd leave early and didn't think too much of it at the time. And I got home, went into bed, and Mom knocked on the door in the morning and she said, "Oh, your Aunt Mary passed away last night." And I said, "What time was that?" Our time, because it was New York. And she said, "Oh, it had been such a time." And then it dawned on me, that's when I left to come home.
Wow. So
Yeah,
really, it seems like there's a real connection spiritually when people are getting ready to make their transition back into
yeah.
non-physical.
And
That's
I
something
didn't
you're
notice it.
sensitive to.
Yeah, and I didn't join the dots until later. And
Yeah.
then it wasn't until I said it to people and they were like, "I getting goosebumps." And I
Yeah.
was like, I didn't think too much of it. And then, like that, I got a deck of cards. Somebody gave me a deck. Oh, yeah, I even remember as a youngster going on a school tour in County Clare. And we went to these caves. And I remember it was a little bag, smaller than this one. And it had a little bag of gemstones in it, say, like crystals and whatever. And I was drawn to it, but I didn't think much of it. And I actually liked the colours of them. And I don't know what happened to the bag as growing up, but I could say that's where probably I actually like crystals.
Mm.
And then as I got older, obviously I liked the cards. And then like if I'm out just going for a browse in town, and if there's a holistic shop, I'll go in and have a wander. I mightn't buy anything, but I just go in, I'm just drawn to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I got the deck of cards and I just started shuffling them and getting to know them and just doing it on myself. And I actually started journaling with the cards. So I just do a card reading on myself for practice. And I'd write down the guidance, take the picture for myself, like what I do now with my own clients. And I'd look back on it later and I'm like, well, I didn't think much of the guidance at the time. And it's not until I look back at it and I'm like, oh, that actually was spot on.
Yes.
And then I started doing a Reiki course. So that opened me up more my third eye in different parts of healing. And then COVID hit. So there wasn't as much training going on.
Mm. Yeah.
And then I was drawn then to a shamanic course locally. And there were so many different modules to that course. It was like a layered course, literally from beginning to end. And especially with the ancestors and spirit, like I was connected with the story I told you in the beginning.
Mhm.
And by the end of it, we had transformed ourselves from the beginning of the course right to the end. It was absolutely beautiful. We all had our own story in the group, but we all had our own. We still are in touch to this day, the 11 people in the course. And it's all women. And they all know who they are. So shout out to the Shamanic Group 11. I know you'll be listening to this podcast.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So, and part of one of the main modules in that was actually divination, which is what the card readings are called from centuries old. So, I suppose I got so excited. The girls would tell you in the course. So as soon as I was told we were having divination weekend, I got excited. It was all
Mm.
about pendulums. It was about using your hands to feel the energy, using your body to feel the energy, using other tools to see what you're comfortable with and works for you. But anyways, one of us, we were always bringing in decks that we each liked. So say now you were in the group and you found a deck and you were like, oh yeah, you were. So we share it. So I'd pull a card for you and vice versa. So the divination weekend was really wonderful. So I love that.
It's
And
I love that you have this group of people that these women that you have this connection with, and you're all equally invested in your spiritual growth. I love that so much. It's
yes,
important for people that are on a spiritual journey and focusing on that in their lives to have that kind of support.
yes, it's absolutely beautiful. And a couple of weeks ago, I was at a festival here in Ireland. It's called Festival Manal. And it's actually all about celebrating women in Ireland and
Mm.
empowering women and everything. And that's actually one of the reasons I started out doing my card readings. Festival of Manal gave me that push. So a big shout out there to Lorraine Hogan as well. I will let her know when this is out. And to all the other beautiful women that organised the event. But what happened was in January, that's when Festival Manal begun this year. And they were short card readers. And literally a few days beforehand, I saw it on Instagram that they were short. And I was like, maybe I should do this. So I
Mm.
literally just saw the post going up, and I messaged them. And I said, I'm in Mayo and I'm able. Now I had no business card done, nothing like that. So I literally and I had all the other tools, but I hadn't that. So I had literally had to design my cards within a few days and
Wow.
get them delivered. And that gave me the push to go out there further. And I suppose it gave me the push to go and do something like this I hadn't done before either.
Yeah,
So
right.
this has all led to beautiful things as I'm going through the process of my own growth and spirituality as well, I suppose. There's one way to describe it. And then the Festival Manaw was then done again recently for the summer solstice here in Ireland. And over 1,000 women came, and there was loads of different events on the festival. So there was card readers, there was cacao trucks, there was cacao ceremony, there was jewelry design, there was books, you name it. you could find it there. It was a beautiful hub of everything to embrace women, and workshops, and oh my God, it was absolutely beautiful. And the weather was
Yes.
really nice as well. You'd have loved
What
it.
a
Yeah.
what a wonderful way to network.
Yes. And that as well. And I got to meet some beautiful women. It was unreal, coming up to my door and, can you not take me today? And I'm only booked in for so many.
Uh-huh.
And the ladies that organised it, they did it through a system. And I thought, I was just, it was announced every week, the countdown and the whole lot. And one of the first things that happened was the tarot readers were all booked out.
Oh.
So, yeah. So it was good for us. And then on the other hand, you could say, well, everyone wanted a bit of guidance, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was good.
So I want to talk about this topic of healing and what is it about tarot and oracle cards? How does that contribute to somebody's healing?
Healing. Well, I have listened to another podcast. I should have written her name down, but I'm sure you'd find it. It was called Healing Through Tarot. And she has done it, she's explained it beautifully how she has used it as a tool, maybe from her background. But I have looked at it in my own background as doing it for healing myself when I was doing my own readings on myself. So when I was stuck in a rut, I still say my prayers at night or whatever, but I was using my cards and I was getting the guidance I needed. Then, say, when I'm doing an energy healing with somebody,
Mhm.
so say it's just a Reiki healing you're coming in for, and I've done this at a fair as well, and I'm giving you a mini session and I'm doing my Reiki healing on you, and I offer you a mini card guidance at the end of it. So it's only 3 cards or whatever I give you at the end. It's only one deck I'm using on the day. So I go through, I've done your chakra balancing with the Reiki, I've cleansed and I've grounded you. And then I give the guidance as healing to step forward when your next part of what you have to do next with yourself. So I brought it in that way as well. And people are nearly, they get up off the bed and they're like, oh my God, that was bliss. That was lovely. I didn't even feel the time going. And they'll tell me, they give me feedback on where they needed it the most or what they felt, which helps me with my job. And then the cards gives them the additional guidance then thereafter, and they're like, oh really, you do that as well? And I'm like, yeah, I can give you a deeper reading on that then as well. So if they want to come back for one or other or both, I'm quite open. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. So when you do the card reading after the Reiki, does it have to it's I mean, you're very focused on their healing specifically. So it's offering guidance about what they need to do going forward. Because now you've kind of given them like a boost, a healing boost
Yes.
with the Reiki. And now it's like, in order to continue that progress, these are the things that the cards are suggesting that you do.
Yeah. Or I've done it in my past, say for my friends. I've one or two close friends and they could still ring me up and they're like, oh my God, this has happened to me today. And they mightn't ask me for a card. I just pulled them a card and I can say, well, actually, this has come up. And they were like, yeah, I kind of knew that and I wasn't listening to it, but the card has told me, you know.
Wow. And do you offer yourself readings? Like, is this something you do every day? Like, where do I sit on this, or how are things going?
I tend to do it in the evenings if they show up. I advertise it on my Instagram page usually.
No, I mean
And
for you. Do you do it
oh,
for
for myself.
yourself? Yeah.
Oh, I do a weekly ritual for myself.
Okay.
I tend to do it on a weekend when I'm gone away from my day job for the couple of days.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring in my book here now tonight, but I have a journal beside my bed. And I do my daily guidance, or not daily guidance, weekly guidance. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday. And I do that week. And then say coming into the new month. So say now I'm coming into August. So I'll do for the month of August what I'm coming up. Or I might find a reading online, somebody that has a beautiful one done. So I'm not actually having to make up my own. And I'll
Okay.
follow the prompts on that and use it as well. So say now, because of my tarot card and my healing business, I have a workbook I downloaded off another big reader, and it's helpful because I've only sat down with it once. I'm only beginning to use it. So I did a big reading on myself and how to manifest my business and where am I going. And so now after as I'm taking all these creative processes, like doing a podcast, meeting people, connecting, networking,
Yeah.
I'm actually beginning to sit down now, and I'm like that 901s, that lady, and I'm trying to set my ducks in a row. And what am I going to do next? So now I've already spoken to the lovely facilitator that was on our course there recently up at Festival Manoa. She distributes cacao, Vivian, and she has a lovely Instagram page herself, and she promotes holistic practitioners like myself. So say if I have an event on, or I'm at an event, she'll help promote me and others,
Wonderful.
which is beautiful. So
Yes.
part of that page, she has creatives on it as well, do art and poetry or blogs. So I said to her, actually, there's a blog I have to do for you yet. And she knows what that is. I've said it to her recently. So hopefully, once I get myself settled in the next few weeks, I'll probably start getting my lovely laptop out now and start typing. I haven't done writing like that before, so I'm hoping that 9 of Wands resonates with me as well. Yeah,
Well, you're feeling the need to do it, therefore
yeah,
something resonates.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that'll also share the process of how card reading works and how far
Yes.
it goes back through the ages and all that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm still really curious about this energy you tune into when people are close to their transition. Does that ever come through in a reading with somebody?
It actually happened to me in Festival Manoa recently. I had 12 or 14 readings that day. And I can't remember the lady in question, but I remember like that I was shuffling the cards and I was asking, have you a particular question? And I don't believe she did. I can't remember. And anyways, I was shuffling away. And the next thing, this name came into my head. So I knew, I said, well, I'll give you the name. I says, I don't know, does it mean anything to you, but I'll give it to you. So I gave her the name Patrick. And she said, I can take that. She said, that's my partner's father. He died recently. And I was gobsmacked because that hasn't happened to me too often in my readings. So I proceeded to shuffle and we were going with whatever. And the next thing I said, I got an affirmation for you. I don't know, does this resonate for you either? It's, I am worthy. And she said, I can take that. And I was like, this just happened, two of us in our lovely little space in the middle of this festival. And it was a beautiful moment. And I think I held her hand. I said, so I had the similar space like I have here now with the cards, and I had the table done up nicely and different bits and pieces going on. And we kept shuffling, but loved her reading.
It seems that there's other aspects of your intuition that maybe are just coming through at certain times. And this is something that's developed. I mean, you're open, clearly. You're open, and it's not always messages coming through the cards, it's coming through in other forms also.
Oh, most definitely. I'm actually involved in another group in the UK, and I'm doing, it's called mediumship. Now, I'm nowhere near mediumship as far as I'm concerned. The standard, I've seen other people in our training group, but it's a lovely, safe environment working with others, and I get to tap into it once a week and to meet these people online. And no more than the group of women that I met on the other course, that I've met a lovely group of people that are based in the UK, America, you name it, they're online. We all get together. And it's like our
Wow.
little Friday session. It's really nice. Yeah.
Well, as you do develop your mediumship, once you feel comfortable, you should let me know, and we should try and do a different session to kind of highlight
Mm.
that aspect of what you're going to do. Because
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking when I was thinking about you tuning into this energy. It felt kind of mediumship to me, but
Yeah.
maybe something that you're not real controlled on yet, but something that's happening when it happens. And
Yes.
you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I feel something, or I feel someone."
Yeah. Oh, it
Yeah.
definitely happened that day with that lady.
Yes.
It was beautiful. And I think she was
Yes.
the only one that happened. I know there was another lady in as well, but I can't remember what messages. I think it was just the messages on the card. And then we actually held hands over the cards together. And I just held space for the situation that was going through for her at the time. And it was just so
Hmm.
nice. Yeah.
Such a
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
I have this idea that mental health could really benefit from work with intuitives, because intuitive people are tuned into something that's higher power. And mental health is something just like any kind of physical ailment that really just needs some guidance. And if that comes from a place of intuition, I feel like that's offering it for everybody's highest good. So I love that you're doing that was like a counseling session that you offered energetically in that moment, being there and allowing space for somebody to feel what they feel and process it and you sit with them and support them in that moment. I love that.
That is so so true, because I actually describe that to people that way myself. Sometimes it's not just a card reading; it is like a guidance session. I'm offering support. The question might come up about a lot. Funnily enough, I went through my own tough situation last year with work. And it's funny, when I started doing these readings and holistic fairs, the universe was bringing people to the table that were going through something similar that I'd already gone through. And a lot of these women, mainly, that were coming to the table, and they were like, "But what do I do next?" Even after I gave the cards, and I said, "Well, are you getting counselling? Are you doing this? Have you signed up to this training agency? Have you done, you know, because I've done it myself, so I can give it back, and I'm there as a support." I also did social care in college, so helping people with other stuff, with disability and whatever. So I
Mm,
can bring them traits into this job as well.
that's so wonderful. What is your focus? Like what is your intention for this healing help that you're offering people? What are you hoping that it does for them?
Well, I'm hoping that they'd love to come back to me for a recurring reading at some stage. I also, if they're near me at all, that I'll be able eventually to offer them an energy healing in person. They get to meet each other, do a bigger relationship. I'm starting, I suppose you could say the cards is one way of me reaching out to people and starting my Divine Light Within page. And hopefully it'll lead to more lovely holistic offerings that I have, and it'll all filter out, and it won't just be my day job and this is my hobby job. That is going to be a
Yeah.
lot more. Marion and the Divine Light Within is a lot more than just her little decks. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I believe it is because even just hearing you say it that way, it really felt like it has that sense of roots to it. So I definitely believe in it. I believe in you.
And it doesn't matter what part of the world you're in, we can all reach each other, like me and you found
Yeah,
each other as well.
we did.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's just assume that everybody listening right now is open to the idea of doing this. What would your message be? Or even let's consider it a different way. Let's consider that there's some people listening who maybe are a little skeptical. They're not really comfortable with the idea of a card reading or any kind of psychic anything. What would you say to that person to kind of like level it out a little, kind of soften it, allow it to be a little bit more welcoming?
Well, I've had a couple of skeptics come to my table in the past, and I would always say the cards are a tool. Firstly, they're a part of the little package that I am, but I am the Divine Light Within, and so are you. And whatever guidance you're going to receive, Spirit is going to give it to me anyway. And there's nothing to be afraid of, because you're here on this earth anyways as a lovely spiritual being. And there's nothing to be afraid of. You're in a sacred held space here. I'm not just doing it for the sake of doing it. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. I'm doing it obviously because people need guidance and they're looking for it in different ways. And it mightn't be necessarily, they might have got readings of other people and they're like, no, that didn't do it for me, and they're put off. We've all gone through our own shadow aspects, I suppose, and I've gone through mine. So I'm able to help you get past that little barrier and show you, even in a small way, even just one card. Yeah. And we will open it up. And if that works for you, I can send you distant healing as well. We can work it in other ways, and nothing to be afraid of. You know, it's not all the, a lot of what card readers and, psychics, they're all painted like to be demonic or that's bad. And, that's not the case at all. There's a lot of
No.
good people doing this work out there as well, but we're not all tarred with the same brush. Yeah,
Yes. Well,
yeah,
I will second that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I
yeah,
think that it's very opposite of demonic. This is where the high power really resides and is utilized by those who tap into it and help to guide others. It's done from a loving place.
A loving place. That's why the white light, the Christ consciousness, we all have it. And
Yes.
sometimes we have the little blocks, and that's the fear. And that's like the lovely Two of Swords, and she's the band around her eyes. But she's able to move forward and move that band. But we all have a little bit of fear. It's just about
Sure.
reaching forward and taking a step. And even if you have to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, you're still going to get there eventually. It's not a race. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, whether you are completely comfortable with having a reading or you've never done it before, you're kind of curious about it, or even if you're a skeptic, I suggest that you give Marion a chance. There is nothing to fear. You might as well give it a go. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're probably going to like at least some aspect of it, because when somebody is offering this kind of work and it comes from a place of really wanting to help people, then that offers a space of positivity, which we are susceptible to as spiritual beings. And I believe that you will feel that with Marion. So, Marion, can you tell everybody how they can reach out to you and schedule a reading of their own?
If you want to reach out to me, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Divine Light Within. So that's divine.light.within. And I'm easily found. I have a public page on Instagram, and you can direct message me on there, and I can bring you forward on the steps to do it on WhatsApp or Zoom, whatever's comfortable. And usually I do it in the evening time or weekend at the moment, but we will endeavour to work around schedules anyways. I've already worked around Dr. Williams here.
Yes,
You
yeah.
know, so we did
Since it's
really
what,
well.
like 10:30 p.m. your time right now?
Yeah. 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 So anything is possible in the realm of the internet and
Yes.
spiritual work. Like, we can work anywhere. And I find it easy enough to connect with you and your questions that you want answered on the readings as well. And I also have a link. I'm able to send out a link then, obviously, for payment, either PayPal or I use Square as well. So it's quite handy. So I'm getting used to what methods people want. Revolut didn't want me, so I'm not doing Revolut at the moment, in case anyone's wondering. It just didn't like me. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But other than that, there's ways and means around everything. Yeah.
That's right. Well, I want to thank you for being here on the show and sharing your perspective and sharing your journey. And I really believe you're building something wonderful. It sounds like you have a wonderful network of women that you're connecting with. And I feel honored to know you and be a part of that in any way that I can. So thanks for being on the show.
And thank you so much for having me, and for having me as one of the lovely podcast guests. I'm honoured. It's the first time I've ever done this, and you've made it so comfortable and so easy. Now I know I can do it again. So that's good. Yeah. So I'm getting my
Absolutely.
creative space open and being able to step forward to doing this again with somebody or whatever happens. So
Well,
there's
I
nothing to be
can't wait
afraid
to
of.
hear about that. Make sure you let
Yeah.
me know when you're on someone else's podcast and I'll
Oh,
check
I
you out.
will. Most definitely. We'll
Yes,
have to keep in touch now, anyways, for sure.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, more to come. If you're enjoying the podcast, you can show your support by leaving a rating and a review on your favorite podcast platform. You also can follow Dr. Williams' podcast on all social media platforms and subscribe on YouTube and by going to www.drwilliamspodcast.com. Deliberate creation is the key to living life satisfied, and that is my wish for all of you.